Two, one. Wait. All right, go.
What's going on, Internet? Circle of Jerks community. Welcome to a brand new segment of our group called Nocturnal Transmissions. Although, ironically, we're doing this in the daytime to start off with, but that's
Yeah.
okay. And this is a new segment between Andy and I, where we do a little bit more of, I guess, potentially adult conversations. Today's is a little bit more fun, but it's our podcast. We tend to try to be a little bit more not PC, but family friendly, so that it's friendly for all ages.
Yeah, but
Anyone
we're not gonna be dropping f bombs and kind of
exactly, but
things.
the content that we talk about might be a little bit more serious or more or whatever comes to mind between Andy and I. And over the course of the summer, you're going to see a little bit more of the two of us doing this segment. We have a few other segments planned, and
Get ready.
there's going to be more of the podcast. Don't if you're a fan of the podcast, there's going to be plenty more of those too. And we got a lot in store. So welcome if you're watching this short live stream. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Or if you watch afterwards, there's plenty to enjoy afterwards. Anyways, so I thought, like, since it's summer break now for a lot of people, and why not talk about Andy and I were going to talk about favorite or worst family vacations, or just like fun summer moments that we've had like over the course, like during our childhood, I guess, or just even in our adulthood. There's sometimes some fun summer events that we do. So why don't you start us off, Andy? Like, what are some of your favorite or worst summer moments?
For me, gosh, there are so many that um, I just don't know exactly where to start. Maybe. Uh, where should I begin? Um, I think. Oh, I know. Well, I guess for this first one, I remember my family, like my immediate family and my extended family. We planned this giant family camping trip to Sequoia, and I think I was a teenager then, and me and two of my younger cousins were put in one tent, and the youngest, he was still like, I believe, like 6 or 7, and at the end of uh, day one, we all went into our tent to go to sleep, and my little cousin was in the middle between myself and my other cousin, and being a little boy, when they sleep, they tend to like move around and kick and things like that. And so when I finally was able to, you know, when I finally lied down, I was already my cousin was already like kind of splayed out on the air mattress that we had. And so I tried to move him, but he just kept like squirming back over onto what little space I had on the air mattress to begin with. And so I had to sleep on the edge of the air mattress. And
Oh no,
yeah, and then
that's never fun.
when I woke up, I found myself off the air mattress with sleeping on a with a rock practically embedded into
No.
my side. And then and then I look on top of the air mattress, and my youngest cousin is just splayed out, arms, legs, basically starfishing it over the surface of the air mattress. And so
That's essentially every like camping experience I've ever had has been that, like falling asleep on like some sort of like rock, like after.
Right. Yeah, that was. I guess that. Yeah, I guess that to start us off, that was one of the worst camping experiences that, or family trip experiences that I had.
I don't know if I had a really bad family trip, but I remember like when I was younger, my I think it was about elementary school is like when this was happening, but like my mom was she was a stay-at-home mom. Like my dad worked, and like all my friends would do stuff, and they'd want me to like hang out and play and stuff like that. But no, my dad would like force me to like study vocabulary and like work on writing throughout the summer, and I had to do that. I'd have like assignments that he'd give me. Like, yeah, you know what that's like.
I know, I'm Korean, so of course.
And I was just like, it's like I hated it so much because it's like I'm like 6 years old. I want to go play. I want to. I didn't even like have really like video games then either. So it wasn't like I just like wanted to go play with my friends, and it's like I'm stuck here like studying vocabulary and writing, which I do appreciate now. Just my writing skills are pretty decent, and I have a good vocabulary, but yeah, as a kid I freaking hated it so much. So that I would say that's probably like my like one like negative summer experience. But as far as like family trips go, like most of them were pretty positive. Most of the time we'd end up going up to like June Lake or like Mammoth. We'd go fishing, and thankfully my dad abhors camping, so that I never had to worry about that.
Right.
I did all the camping I was gonna do in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, and like I'm done with camping forever.
You were in Cub Scouts?
Yeah, I was. I was in it until about high school, and then I got like too busy with involved with like cross country and like other activities that I didn't keep up with it. But
okay.
A little bit of a side note. Yeah, I was in all that stuff, and but like so like a lot of our family trips were like to like June Lake, Mammoth, Mammoth and all that, go fishing, which I as a kid I didn't really enjoy it as much, but as I got older, that love for just, even if we don't catch any fish, just being able to sit on the lake and like, even if like we're not talking, like I would usually like bring a book or later years I'd bring like a Game Boy or something, and like while I'm fishing, and it's nice and peaceful, and like you're alone, which is in a sense, which I like. But I think my favorite, there's two family trips that I've taken, or actually three that I've taken that I've really enjoyed over the course of my life. One was, I think, was after my junior year of high school. We went on this really long road trip. We were going to Utah for a car show. Like my parents and I were into classic cars, and at the time we had a 1956 Nomad, and there was a show in Park City, and so we drove that old car, middle of summer, no air, none of that stuff, and it was just kind of how a road trip back in like the late 50s would have been like. It was hot, but it was a nice like car trip. I read I think I finished like 2 or 3 books on that trip just from reading alone, because I can read in the car without getting car sick, so I get a lot of reading done.
Lucky you.
When I'm not, like so when I'm not driving, I can get a lot.
I can't do that. I get way car sick.
Yeah. So I'd read for a bit, I'd fall asleep, I'd read for a bit, and that was most of like the for the driving portion. And I remember like when we were that whole trip was pretty fun. We were coming back. We met. We were coming back through like Arizona, like the Nevada border, and it got just oppressively hot. Like the car started to, it was starting to overheat a little, so we decided to like let the car cool off because I think it was probably about 120 degrees by the time when we pulled over.
Good God.
And where we pulled over, there was a next to the like hotel, there was a go-kart track, and we're like, well, no one's there, but my dad and I, in our mind, is like, what? Oh, go-kart track, awesome. And we went to make sure it was still open, like, because nobody was out there. It's like, are you guys open? It's like, yeah. It's like, all right, well, can we race? Like, it's like, are you sure? Are you nuts? It's like, all right.
You wanna die?
Yeah, well, they let us race for a long time. We were the only ones there, and that was so much fun. So that was like, and that whole trip was like pretty fun, and like we ended up getting caught up in like a huge like thunderstorm and all that stuff, like because we ended up leaving like around like 2 a.m. to kind of beat the heat a little bit. And then the other trip that I found a lot of fun. I did that when I was much older. We ended up going to Richmond, Virginia, for a NASCAR race.
Right.
And well, it's kind of cool. Like so we flew out there. We got to see the race, but I really enjoyed looking at all the historical sites, a lot of the old Civil War battle sites. They had the Confederate Museum, the Confederate White House Museum that was there, and you learn a lot about like Jefferson Davis, who he was. Very interesting guy, and it's just really like the people there really care about their history,
right?
And I mean, surprisingly, and what was kind of, everyone was really like nice there. Even like the ones that would you look, if they were here in like LA, it'd be kind of like, ooh, seems kind of like a sketchy dude. But like those, even like those guys were very kind, very helpful, and like we were out at like 2 a.m. at one point. And it's like it was not like I didn't feel like I was in danger of any kind. Let's see, the spider sense wasn't tingling at that point. And I'm not, and trust me, like I'm from LA, so or we're both from LA, so it's like it's like, yeah, the situation is like, let's get the fuck out here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think there is a difference between Angelenos and New Yorkers. New Yorkers, they're kind of just straight up kind of dicks to people, whereas Angelenos, I think, are just just a little less dickish, and maybe a little bit more brusque with their interactions with people.
Yeah.
But
it was so yeah, that trip to Richmond was pretty good. But I did that when I was like much older, and then a few years ago I went to Washington D.C. and that like I absolutely loved that trip. The food was great, but like just it's kind of cool looking at all those like the sites, and it's all the touristy stuff like the Capitol building, the White House, all that stuff, and
I still have yet to visit our nation's capital.
And you say what you will about like our like whatever you think about the political spectrum or politician or whatever, but like just the history of that city alone is just so I'm just so blown away by it. And there was just, even we were there for like a week, and we tried to tour just about everything, and I could spend a week in just one of those places and not be satisfied because there's just so much to learn. And Yeah, and even like there was some we had some really good tour guides in places that were they were just they knew everything about the city, and like all like the little you know little nuances, little knickknacks, and just tidbits of history that I would have never thought of, and
Mm.
it's just I was just blown away. So if anyone's just a fan of history, I highly recommend going to DC if you have the time and the money. Like yeah, it's a great city,
Mm.
and the food there is fantastic.
Mm. I mean, I guess technically, DC would be like a southern city, but it's like it's right at that border where it's like where you consider it north or south.
It's
Um,
yeah, it's actually like it is pretty much like it's like because the South is like because Richmond, Virginia is not that far away from it.
uh-huh.
That was a during the like Civil War. That was like kind of a there was a lot of people from like that were living in that area that were kind of torn because like that was their home, but they were more on the Confederate side or vice versa. Some like were that were in like Richmond were more on the Union side than the Confederate side. So it was
Mm.
just uh, and that was the case with a lot of like the Civil War stuff. Is they were just yeah, a lot of people were torn because like I don't want to fight like my family or my
Right.
brothers.
Uh-huh.
And after like the days that after like fighting and stuff during the day, they would end up a lot of them like on like they would end up having dinners or conversations together, and then they'd resume fighting the next day. It was kind of a weird it's a weird war.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure it is.
But those are some of my favorite like kind of summer family vacations that I took.
Mm-hmm.
I always enjoy a good road trip. That's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Going to a place where like I can learn a lot about history and just something to look at something new. And I'm always a big fan of, and thankfully, like my parents think the same way. Is like let's why would we want to get like food that we can get where we have at home? Like let's
Right.
figure
No, yes, that's always one
yeah
of the things that I'm always uh, conscious of because you know I don't want to go. I don't want. I mean, of course, except for the case of like expediency or last minute. I remember when I went to Korea and I made it a point to tell to be like, hey, we're not gonna have any uh, like anything that we can get back home. I mean, although like McDonald's, but even though they do have like kind of more like the specialty like McDonald's food like in like different countries and stuff, that I will go and try because
yeah that
I can't get it
I'm
at my local McDonald's.
yeah I'm very
But
curious to like go to like a Korean McDonald's or something like that. That'd be very interesting.
yeah, I think when I was there, I think the thing was like a bulgogi burger or something.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, and then so yeah, I try to eat as much of the local food as possible. Even though to some extent, I kind of grew up with it, but it's like this is from the motherland, and so I have to see what how the flavors are different, or how they're the same, or how you know being in America, my how my parents and how like other like Korean immigrants had to adapt recipes and such, with the available ingredients. And I think one of the things I remember Anthony Bourdain on his show Parts Unknown, he did a segment on Koreatown here in LA, and I forget. I don't remember who the chef, who like the guest chef was that he had like the customary sit down and like meal with. But it was a Korean chef, and he said that Korean cuisine is the only cuisine that didn't adapt itself to Americans, but that
Thank God for that.
yeah, because it's like the sundubu or the tofu stew that you get in LA is the same one you can get in Korea. There's like
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
it's all but the same thing. And
Yeah.
so that was actually a really good point. And I think that's what's something that I also I came to found when I was in Korea and I was having the food. I was like, oh, this is pretty like similar. I mean, there are like a few notes here and there that that I wasn't familiar with, but then the overall it it was exactly the same, and it felt like I didn't leave home. It felt like I was at home, and so
Yeah. I always like when I go to new places. Like, okay, where to where do the locals go? Like, where do they like find that's what's the hit place that they go to that it's like, oh, the food's here is really good. And uh, when I went to DC, oh my gosh, I had the best ribs that I've ever had.
hmm. Do you have
Um,
any? Oh, I recently uh, heard about this sauce that they have. Called, I think it's called Mambo Sauce. I don't know if you encountered it over there, but I mean, it's the way they describe it. It's almost like a fusion of like Chinese like sweet and sour sauce with barbecue sauce.
ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, but I mean,
Uh,
please continue.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. So I had the best ribs I've ever had. Like, and what it was cool. It was a place called like King's Ribs. I think that was the place it was called, and it was just like little trailer
Uh,
that was out by the waterfront. And what's crazy, like it's like this is one couple, and they buy their meat fresh every day, and I like they're open till I think like from about 9 o'clock to 4 or 5. But if they sell out before 5 o'clock, they sell out every single day. They just
mhm,
like like, oh, we're done, and they close up shop. So you have to get there kind of like there's some days where you can kind of like sneak in at about like around 4 o'clock and get something, but most often times like you got to get there pretty quick. Or
mhm,
they're pretty cool where it's like if you call in, it's like, hey, I can't get there till 4, but I'm ordering this. Can you have it ready by then? And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. We'll be waiting. Like they're really they'll set stuff aside and they'll
mhm.
that was really cool.
I mean,
And like the ribs were just like the way that they marinated the meat or whatever. It was nice and tender. There was no rub on it. There was no sauce. It was just how they made the ribs, which is really good. But then they also had their own sauce that they made too, which also was also fantastic.
right. Yeah, I don't
God,
know, because
I
I
could go
mean,
for that place.
I'm a foodie also, and so uh, lately I've been trying to learn more about like especially like the preparation of food, and like barbecue has been like on my mind for a good long time, and I mean where I currently live I can't I there's not necessarily room for a smoker, but man, God, I really want a smoker.
Oh yeah, that same here.
So I could do ribs, so I can do like brisket and things like that. Although I have I have like read about and I have watched like videos about how you can achieve the same you can achieve the same results of smoking, but like within like the confines of like an
Right.
apartment kitchen, and by using liquid
I would make
smoke and
so much
everything like
pulled
that,
pork.
and still kind of cooking it, like low and slow
Right.
as is the rule for barbecue. And so, but yeah, I'm really I can't wait for the day that I mean I have my own house and I can and I have a backyard, and I can have and I have a smoker and get like the wood chips and all that stuff, and just go crazy a little bit.
And I heard the type of wood you use too is like really important.
Right, yeah,
For
like the different woods, create different smokes. Like the cherry or the pecan wood, definitely lends the flavor of the fruit from that tree into the
right.
smoke and ultimately into the meat. And so yeah, I've been like it's all that kind of stuff like really fascinates with me. And and I'm someone who enjoys processes. Being a photographer, especially back in the day when it was all film and stuff, and you have to go through you have to actually go through the process
The dark room.
of
Yeah.
processing the film, and doing the different baths and the different chemical solutions, and then taking like the exposed paper and putting that in the developer, and it was all very fascinating for me. And so it just like it my affinity for processes just translated over into cooking.
Well, because we kind of talked about that a little bit on the podcast too, with like with photo development, like
Mm-hmm.
how some people's like, yeah, I can just take a picture. I'm a photographer. It's like, no, like it's an art form. Like you look at like guys like Ansel Adams. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that's brilliant. It's like that's a whole like special process that he went through,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same thing with with food too. Like it's a it's a little bit of a science. It's a little bit science, a little bit art at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to
Right.
um, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm the same way. I love the process of like
Mm-hmm.
how like what flavor combinations
Mm-hmm.
and like if a little bit of time here or there, a little bit of spice here or there can make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just recently my mom she made this kimchi fried rice,
Oh
and
God, that sounds great.
it yeah, and usually it is pretty good. I mean,
Everyone can
but
tell I haven't had dinner yet because I'm like
yeah,
everything sounds
it's like
good
ooh,
right
I
now.
know, I know. It's like torture. Like we're talking about food and we haven't had dinner yet. But she usually usually her kimchi fried rice is like on point. But for some reason, this time she added broccoli, and I'm not. I mean, I don't hate broccoli, but I'm not a particular
It
fan of
just sounds
broccoli.
odd for like kimchi fried rice.
Right, but and then and she didn't chop it up finely enough, or she didn't just use like I guess the the flower part, I guess, but she incorporated
Yeah.
like the stems also, and kind I hear people I hear chefs and stuff talk saying that a meal is like a conversation, and then and it's all every the way a chef will prepare a meal is all very purposeful, just like how someone, if they give a speech or they speak and they use certain words, is all like kind of specific and purposeful. But my mom throwing in the broccoli as she did, it kind of it was like hearing a having a word hit your ear wrong. It's kind of like ugh, it kind of like broke up the conversation, or
Yeah, it just didn't. Yeah, it was kind of thrown on top, and it didn't work. Yeah, it doesn't sound like broccoli doesn't seem like the flavor level for doesn't seem like it would work for kimchi fried
yeah.
rice.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if again, like she took just like the kind of the top, I don't even know what you call it, but
Yeah, I don't know.
the
I
end
don't
of it,
know
not like
exactly what
not
that part.
yeah, not so not the stem. If she just
Yeah, I
incorporated
know,
like
but
that,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah, if she just incorporated that, I
the
think it would have been
tree
like
portion of the broccoli,
yeah,
the foliage.
yeah, but the like yeah, but like the stem part of it, it was just very kind of jarring. It's like you bit into it, and it's like, oh, you hit all these good like, fatty and spicy notes, from like the
Well,
kimchi and the pepper paste and the pepper flakes, and then all of a sudden you get like this, this really kind of awkward crunch, and it's like, ugh. It just
Yeah. And see, I think like broccoli to me does not fit the Korean like food palette very well. It
mm.
fits. I think it fits the Chinese like food palette pretty well
Right,
because
yeah.
they're
I mean, they got their own broccoli. You know, it's called Chinese broccoli. So
yeah, and it like it the flavors work together. Whereas like with Korean food, it just seems like broccoli is such a clash to all of that.
hmm
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's, hey, it doesn't hurt to try stuff every once in a while, but like it's yeah, it just broccoli is the flavor of broccoli does not match up to Korean cuisine.
yeah, no, not in the least, not in the least.
Even with the meat dishes, it wouldn't. I don't think it works because like the sauces and the marinades don't match up with that flavor.
hmm
Um,
I mean, I know they do. They do like this kind of brining to broccoli, and like they kind of you know, I've been to Korean restaurants, but they do offer it as a panchan, as a side dish.
yeah, I mean that's a little bit different. But
Yeah, but
as
I
far as
mean,
like part of like a main dish,
uh,
just the flavor combinations I don't think work.
right,
Um,
yeah.
it's just because yeah, shoot, I had a thought in my head and it just boop,
No,
popped
I
away.
think I know what you're saying. Cause I think I don't. I think like the what is it? They haven't been
Well,
the flavor hasn't been properly translated or incorporated
yeah,
into the Korean palate.
yeah, and then like because they also use like a bunch of different other types of vegetables that work really well, like like a lot of like the like little cucumbers that they use like for like
Cucumber, spinach, daikon radish.
yeah. And
You know,
that was something that took me a little while to get used to those like radishes because I'm used to like the ones that we get like here in like
right? The
the
little red
U.S.
ones.
like red ones that
Yeah,
are like kind of spicy for some reason. Like they have like
yeah,
they're kind
yeah. Like this kind of like
of,
peppery unctuousness to them.
and then I bite into these and it's kind of like this like sweet and sour at the same time. It's kind of so it took me a while to get used to that flavor. I was like, this is a radish? What?
Right. Yeah, because I think it's uh not just for the enjoyable flavor, but it's also kind of like a palate refresher.
Yeah, and then you also get like the white ones that like get put in some of like the stews and soups and stuff too, and those
Mm-hmm.
are like
Mm-hmm.
those are more like almost potato flavored and that's like as far as like a flavor like level I would put it like as like almost like a potato,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which is kind of but it's good. Yeah, I like it in a lot of the soups.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I could talk about food forever.
I don't know who. I mean, who
I think we
can't?
have our next. I think we have our next nocturnal transmission. We might have to talk about food.
Mm.
Favorite late night spot to talk about where
Either
we go to eat.
taco. That would have to either be tacos or Thai food.
Oh man, yeah, both of those sound like terrific right
Yeah,
now.
because those are the only thing that are open late night. So at least in my experience.
Yeah, like I've been. Oh shoot, I should have done that yesterday since I didn't have any like church stuff. But there's there's like food trucks and stuff that are there's like on Wednesdays and Fridays up like in the valley they have this like food truck row and it's
Oh
you
yeah,
have
yeah, I
like
know what you're
all
talking
the
about.
different
Yeah,
trucks.
in
We
Granada
had
Hills, right?
yeah I think we had to do that. We should all like meet up and do that one evening. Just kind of check out a couple different places.
Yeah, yeah. A buddy of mine
Um,
who lives in Granada Hills, he hits that up every so often, and he says that there's a beignet truck.
what really? I
Yeah,
didn't see that one.
and yeah, because And I mean, to my shame, a little bit, I've never had a beignet.
God, it's been a while since I've had that.
Hmm.
Um, might have to, you know, check that out. I haven't. It's been a while.
Although yeah, the beignets,
Like,
they look delicious, and I've actually looked up recipes to try and see if I can, make my own. But I think that, it might not turn out as well because, I've never had one, so I don't know what the flavor profile is. I don't know, like, I don't know the texture. I don't know the feel of it, so I don't know how well I would be able to make beignets.
yeah, there's a few that I've seen there that I'm hoping that they're there again. I think there was like one or two barbecue trucks there that I wanted to try.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the most popular one the Kogi truck.
Of course,
Um,
yeah.
you know what? I can't believe the Korean Mexican fusion. Like,
Uh-huh.
I didn't think that was gonna work but it does. It just
Yeah, it totally does.
pretty good.
I mean, the flavor profiles aren't that dissimilar.
True. I think with the Korean side of it, it adds just it's spicy, but it still adds like a little bit of sweetness to it as well,
Hmm.
which kind of gives it like an interesting um. Their um their like kaibi burrito is really
Right, yeah,
good.
because it's all like the thing kalbi. There's like three things going around. There's the fat, there's the salt, and there's the sweet, in the
Yeah.
marinade. So those three things are like essential for flavor.
Oh yeah, it really is.
So yeah, just translate over that to Mexican cuisine, and you have like the same thing. Like, taco is, it's, your protein, although the sweetness in Mexican cuisine isn't as pronounced, I would say.
Yeah, that's where with the Korean side of it like comes in because
Yeah, they come
the
in
kaibi
like bringing like that. Yeah,
it
it's
has,
like the tripod. It's the third leg of the tripod, and you know.
yeah, because really when it and I might be ignorant of like I've had a lot of Mexican food, but like I haven't had everything.
Mhm.
I know like a lot of the corn like cakes and stuff that they have like that brings a little bit of sweetness to
Oh yeah, that's true. That's right.
But as far as like actual in the dishes themselves, there's not really a lot of sweetness, which is fine with me. I don't need that. But on that note, I think I need to go eat,
All
and
right.
I think this is a pretty successful initial nocturnal transmission in the daytime, no
Yeah.
less.
I don't know. You East Coast people, it's already like sunset for you, so you're probably eating or whatever.
Yeah, or after hearing us finish off talking about food. Just let you guys know, we'll be doing a few more of these like throughout the summer. Our episode that we recently recorded that's about to be put out pretty soon,
Mhm.
and we're gonna have some more episodes during the summer, and we might also have a few different segments that we're gonna be doing too. So thanks for all you guys who are watching and who are fans of us. And yeah, have a great week, have a great weekend, and have a good Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Peace.